Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or Tsui, I'm gonna bet already. This is Eagle Eyes on Tech. I am Eagle Falcon. Just me again this week. I have not heard from Regret the Van in a while. I'm getting worried. But only slightly? Because I've heard from a close friend of his, he was out of town last week. He might still just be, like, recovering from that. I don't know. But rumors say he is alive somewhere, not locked in the back of a van. Which is kind of a shame, because I know two stories this week he would absolutely love. One of which directly affects a literal, not figurative, tons. I said a ton, but I should say tons of Twitch streamers, myself included. And that's probably why this seems like such a big deal to me, but really, this is a sign for a lot of things. Twitch announces a new Twitch affiliate program. Now, the title of this program is extremely deceptive. Because normally when you think of affiliate, usually in the business world, what an affiliate program is that, let's say, I pitch to someone that they should go try out this service. And then I can give them a code that says I referred them there, and then I get a small portion of the profits from that sale. That's an affiliate program. What Twitch's affiliate program is basically mini partnership. Partnership within Twitch means a lot. It means you get, when you stream on Twitch and you're a partner, you get a portion of the ad revenue. Your stream is allowed to use the cheering system. Your stream also has a subscribe button where viewers can subscribe to your channel for $5 a month. And then they get a bunch of emotes that you've agreed to use across the entire site. Among many, 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 many other perks. If you're not a partner, you get none of that. You get no ad cut, you don't get a sub button, you don't get to use the bit system, you don't get to use anything. Affiliate is a step between being a unpartnered streamer, which is what most streamers are, and a partnered one. Right now, being an affiliate, which I've now disorganized my things, gets you, as of right now, the cheering system with bits, meaning that bits can be used on those streams to cheer. And the cut is the same. Normally, when you cheer on a partnered stream, the partnered streamer gets 1 cent for each bit you cheer with. Bits can then be acquired for 1.2 cents per bit, or by watching ads. Now, obviously, you don't pay a fraction of a cent. They sell it at a minimum of 100, so you pay $1.20 to get 100 bits. Twitch affiliates will also eventually get a subscription button, but only with one emote. And I think that's going to... I don't know, that seems like a why bother sort of area. Twitch affiliates will also down the road be able to get a cut of game sales on Twitch, in addition to eventually getting a cut of the ad revenue. Transcodes will be given to them at priority access, but they don't get additional VOD storage or stream delay. That's not a big deal. Twitch affiliates also get chargeback protection. The payout time frame is 60 days, whereas Twitch partners is 45 days. Payout fees is covered by, quote, affiliates, whereas with partners, payout fees are covered by Twitch. I don't know. Oh, wait, no, I just figured it out. It means that you have to cover the payout fees. Whereas a partner, Twitch covers the payout fees. And then everything else is basically the same for affiliates. So, what does it take for a streamer to become an affiliate? They need to meet the following requirements. A, they must stream at least 500 total minutes of broadcast time within the last 30 days. They must have at least 7 unique broadcast days in the last 30 days. They must have an average of 3 concurrent viewers or more over the last 30 days, and have at least 50 followers. If you know anything about Twitch streaming, this is so doable, it's hilarious. I hate to beat up on Regret while he's gone. But this is actually a great example of how insignificant these requirements are. My Twitch channel at twitch.tv/eagle_falcon, which you may be watching this live on right now. Currently, my average concurrent ranges at about 8 to 10. I have 651 followers. I broadcast within 30 days about 22. And what would the total minutes be? I know I cover 500 minutes on just a Sunday alone. That's about 8.5 hours. That's about what I do on a Sunday. So you're at minimum 6 times that. So I blow these out of the water. With the exception of the average concurrent, I only get about half. And the only reason I say that is my Jackbox streams usually get about 22 concurrents, and other streams get anywhere between 3 and 7. Like right now my thing's showing 3, but I also had a weird start. Regret is a microscopic channel compared to mine. And I'm a microscopic channel compared to most partnered stream channels. Both Regret and myself fit this criteria. It's pretty much anyone who at least tries, and I mean just barely tries, would be able to get an invite to become a Twitch affiliate. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I think this is way too low of requirements for this. Now, there's still a lot of info that's not revealed yet. The sub button says it's only one emote and that it's coming soon. That means it's still in development and they still could be debating on what they do down the road. It's quite possible there might be different levels of affiliates within there. Someone actually just asked a question in the chat. I'm trying to comprehend it here. I'm not gonna lie, I've had like 4 hours of sleep, and I just finished a 7-hour shift. I was just curious, I've heard some streaming services can basically own your content and use it how they want. Is Twitch one of those? In a way, almost all streaming services work like that in a way. I mean, pretty much all streaming services, the way they work is that you broadcast your content live. The streaming service then profits on placing ads during your content. Usually when they first load, and then each service has a various way of incorporating it otherwise. Like Hitbox and YouTube and Twitch. Twitch allows this too, but nobody does it. It gives you a button to just play an ad. But I mean, it's not like each of those streaming services like keep your broadcasted content and just then restream it as much as they want. I'm not sure if that answered your question. But let's get back on the point. So, how do you get into a Twitch affiliate? Normally, when you become a partnered streamer, you have to apply to become a partnered streamer. Now, right now, to become a partnered streamer on Twitch, the requirements are extremely vague. Before, it used to be you must have a set schedule, you must have either 500 or 100 concurrent viewers, or if you're just coming over from YouTube, there was like a specific subscriber count they wanted. Now, all they want is that you show signs of growth, which is up to them. And you have to have a stream schedule, and you have to follow their guidelines. And then after that, it's judged on a case-by-case basis. I applied once, I didn't get it, to the surprise of no one. The affiliate program, on the other hand, is not done by application. It is done by invitation. This means you, as the streamer, have no control on when you get accepted. Twitch will invite you into it, and then you can accept it. Now, more than likely, this is going to be done via robot. I mean, just look at these requirements. It is not hard at all to have a bot go through and just like, all right, filter out, just look at the broadcast time, when they've broadcasted, what's their average concurrent, and do they have at least 50 followers? Whereas partnership is done by hand. So I think that covers everything with the affiliate, but there is just one question. Why now? It's a valid question. Why is Twitch doing this now? It's not like they have pressure from any of their competition. I mean, without a doubt, Twitch is the dominant force when it comes to video game streaming. And Twitch is in fact now encroaching in other territories of streaming outside of gaming, with such categories as social eating, talk shows like this one, and with their IRL tab and developing mobile streaming, they're encroaching in on Facebook Live and Periscope. So why make this program? It's the DNA that is Amazon. Remember, Amazon owns Twitch. One thing Amazon does is Amazon is extremely competitive. Right now, Twitch has basically 3 other competitors. YouTube Gaming, Beam, which is owned by Microsoft, and the Hitbox Azubu merger. Two of these programs allow partnership, quote unquote, right off the bat. YouTube's requirements to achieve YouTube partnership, at least at the first stage, is extremely low. I got in to be a YouTube partner before I even made content. And Hitbox, I applied and got approved for partnership before I even streamed on them. Beam is the odd one out. They have a partnership program very similar to Twitch, but saying that you need at least 40 concurrent. And because Beam has very few viewers, it's very hard to get in there. Now, Unjust Banana in the chat says that YouTube gaming is growing faster than Twitch. I haven't heard that. I can't confirm or deny that. If possible, then this makes more sense. If not, then this is simply Amazon getting the jump on things. This is exactly what Amazon did when they were growing in their own space, in the e-commerce space. I mean, right now, what's the first thing that pops in your head when you think e-commerce? It's Amazon. Maybe it's eBay. But for the most part, it's Amazon. As Amazon went ahead and kept building up their own platform, and the moment they found a feature that someone else tried to put in, they instantly got the jump on it to make sure they stayed on top, while also creeping in to other areas where Amazon didn't seem like they had any place to belong. Like live streaming video. They creeped into that for no adequately explored reason. In the ebook world, as Barnes & Noble tried to creep in, they went ahead and started adjusting their rates to beat out Barnes & Noble, and now Barnes & Noble... Where is Barnes & Noble anyway? Like, I don't think they've actually even done anything other than just go, okay, we're just gonna continue to exist. But I digress. That's what's going on here. Now, there is one thing I don't know, and unfortunately, Twitch hasn't gotten back to me on the answer for this. It's if simulcasting is allowed as a Twitch affiliate. One thing I've heard from Twitch partners over and over and over again is that as part of the contract you signed with Twitch to become a partner, they say they have a clause in there saying you can only stream on Twitch. And as terrible as it sounds, it's a no-brainer. You do exactly that. I don't see anything in Twitch's blog post about simulcasting. In fact, you can do a quick find on here. Simulcasting. Yep, 00. In fact, stream shows up 20 times in this thing. Yep. No sign. So I don't know if that's going to be a requirement, that affiliates can only stream on Twitch. If so, that's not the end of the world. It does mean that the company Restream, their business model quickly dies in an instant. To answer just quickly, I'm going to answer Unjust Banana's question, or more of a comment. I know my hitbox is down. Currently, we're only live streaming this on Twitch, YouTube, and Spreaker. Those are the only 3 places we're currently live streaming this right now. The reason is because all the other outlets have sent me angry letters saying I cannot broadcast a talk show on their networks. They are strictly gaming content. So, that's that. The other thing there's one last thing I want to point out. As part of this announcement for the affiliate Twitch streamers, Twitch partners get a purple check mark, or a white check mark inside a purple octagon next to their name as an additional badge of honor that they are, in fact, achieved the coveted status of partnered. Affiliates do not get that. So, right now, the affiliate program is not live yet. They said it will be out soon. I'm willing to bet within the next 2 weeks, the affiliate program will start to go live. And then streamers will start to be invited in, and more than likely that will probably happen over the course of 2 months. So, for those of you who are in the same boat as me, waiting to get your affiliate status, be patient. Be patient. It's going to come in time. The one thing I'm glad about is that affiliates still get the full 1 cent per bit. When I first saw that, I was like, oh boy, this is going to be terrible. Like, half a cent per bit. And no, it is the same as partners. I don't know what the split's going to be for the sub button when that comes out, but of course that's in coming soon status. Speaking of sub button, here's the other announcement that Twitch launched. And this has other third-party Twitch services kind of worried. And that's the new subscriptions system. So, soon there will be technically 4 tiers of subscriptions. Right now there's 2 tiers, even though they're basically the same tier. That's the free Twitch Prime sub and the $5 sub. Normally when you, as I said earlier, normally when you subscribe to a Twitch streamer, you'll get a chat badge next to your name saying you're a subscriber, and you get access to their emotes to use across the entire site. Soon there's going to be 4 levels. The free Twitch Prime subscription, the $5 subscription, a $10 subscription, and a $25 subscription. As of right now, it seems to be that the only thing that the additional 2 tiers of subscriptions adds is just a different subscriber badge and more emotes. I am sure down the road there'll be more abilities to tempt people into spending more, but I'm going to be real blunt. I think it's dumb. I'm a streamer, and I think this is dumb. Here's the main reason. It was already a tough sale to say $5 per month out of your monthly income to say thank you to a streamer for providing entertaining content, and then also use, emotes. To then double that? That's rough. Oh, but what if I really like the guy and I really want to support him? Every streamer has a donation box and bits. Unjust Banana right now in the chat is making airline jokes. I'm going to refrain from that because, first off, there's certain business practices within the airlines I don't like, but is considered standard. And second, this is completely different just on the grounds that on an airline you have to pay to board in the first place. For watching a stream, boarding is free. So you're all ready to say, $10 support the guy or girl, whoever. That's as much as a Netflix subscription. And then on top of that, to add a $25 option. And so far, all it does is add more emotes. I'm sure down the road, I'll find some form of a third-party app that'll take advantage of this and actually be able to provide more than just additional emotes. But I gotta look at it from a budgetary perspective. How do you justify $10 or $25 per month out of your monthly income to say thanks, dude? And if there's a windfall, by all means, go spend it on bits and throw bits at the guy or gal. Or whoever. Unjust Banana in the chat is now giving me flack for assuming there's only 2 genders. To which I am now stabbing my monitor with this key. I don't know if he's feeling this, but it's making me feel better. Shush you. This might just be another case of me looking at the way things were and saying, yeah, it's pretty good. And in the grand scheme of things, this doesn't add a whole lot other than making sure that Twitch gets its cut. In fact, this actually reminds me a lot of a third-party service called GameWisp that allows anyone to add a subscribe-like feature to their Twitch streams. I use it as well. And you could set multiple tiers and whatnot. I've done the same thing. At least there you can add a lot per each one. Although GameWisp, its emote feature is god-awful. It's just terrible. Don't even bother. I mean, already, a lot of the partnered streamers I talk to love this idea, but of course they do. It gives the option for them to be supported more. But this also brings the opportunity where someone would have normally done like, all right, here, I'll renew my $5 subscription, and then throw $25 worth of bits out into the chat. Well, now if you go with the $25 subscription, assuming that it follows the same cut in half model that the $49 does, that means the streamer only sees $12.50 of it, and then Twitch keeps the other half. So it actually ends up supporting the streamer less. Now, of course, I don't know that for certain. It could be that the cut for the 2 larger amounts is more in the streamer's favor than it is in Twitch's. And of course, you know I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. Absolutely, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this feature. Information must be found. Alright. Rumors about this next item were already surfacing last week, and I didn't comment on them. And the main reason I didn't comment on this before is because it just seemed like people wanting it to believe that it was real so hard. But now these rumors are coming in from a lot more sources, and there might actually be something to these rumors now. Rumors are saying that there is an SNES Classic standalone console on the way for holiday 2017. Do I even need to explain anything beyond that? You already know what it's going to be. It's going to be a small, adorable little replica of a SNES running an ARM chip with an SNES emulator and probably 30, 40 SNES Classic games built into the console that you can play with a little SNES controller with it. Now you might be thinking, oh, come on, Eagle, you grew up on Nintendo. You grew up on Dragon Warrior on the NES, Final Fantasy on the Super Nintendo, along with Chrono Trigger. You would love this stuff. Here's why I'm sighing. The Nintendo Classic, they intentionally did not meet up to demand and then killed it. In the end, the NES Classic was a collector's item. Everyone hoped that it was a cash-in on nostalgia, and it wasn't. It was a collector's item. And Nintendo proved that that's all it was ever going to be by killing it and not producing any more support for it. There was hopes that you'd be able to have a firmware update and add more games. I wanted there to be more games. Because really, on that whole thing, there was only like 3 titles I cared about. 4, actually, I think. I'm now drawing a blank on what was all on there, but it was like the 2 NES Zelda games, Legend of Zelda and Legend of Zelda 2, and then Super Mario Brothers, and then Super Mario Brothers 3. That's pretty much all I cared about. I swear, if this SNES Classic is just another $60 cash grab during the holiday season, I'm going to be disappointed. I'm going to be really, really disappointed. And Unjust Man in the chat is exactly right. I was just going to get to that, and he beat me to it. Nintendo does need to focus. They need to stop with the gimmick nostalgia little set-top boxes, and they need to look at the Switch. Currently, the Switch has production problems. They're not able to meet up with demand. And there are flaws with the construction. I don't know if any of you know about this, but there's one thing that's really making me reluctant on picking up a Switch right now. The Switch currently warps in the dock. The dock's design was such an afterthought that the covering plate ends up scratching the plastic screen. As well as the OS bricking itself. Now, the OS bricking is becoming more and more rare. It looks like Nintendo's finally solved that problem. But I mean, the dock scratching the screen? The entire console warping inside the dock? These are serious problems. This should be the concern. Now, the whole scratching the screen, okay, fine. Let me go over to Zegs, let me get an invisible shield. But what if it warps? Now the screen protector doesn't fit. It's heated up enough to warp it, which means that the glue for the screen protector is going to fail. And Yuxi in Twitch chat reminded me, don't forget about making the controllers go the wrong way. It's painful to set. Yeah. What what Yuxi is talking about is if you put the right controller on the left side of the console, it'll slide in and be almost impossible to remove. There should have been some sort of guard to prevent that from happening at all. And there wasn't. I know a couple of people that because of these rumors, in fact, not just rumors, because of these problems, that they're not happy to everyone, but they're out there. Because of them, he's waiting for some sort of refresh on the Switch. But what's Nintendo's focus on instead? An SNES Classic Edition. Nintendo, please. Stop cashing in on nostalgia. I know that's your industry, but there's plenty of time to cash in on nostalgia when your next generation console works, and works well. I know you don't have to worry about Sony. They already put out the PS4 Pro, and it's a mediocre launch. But the Scorpio is on its way. And if you want the Switch to be an option after the Scorpio hits, it has to work. And it has to work well. No exception. Alright, let's shift gears a bit. Enough about console video gaming. Let's talk about AMD not learning a dang thing. So, when AMD launched the Ryzen processors, one thing I said is that congratulations, AMD. You have taken a step in the correct direction. You have launched a processor that actually works and has actually made you viable again. You are finally back in the race. All you had to do was make sure that your next generation of GPUs wasn't a colossal letdown. Polaris turned out to be a colossal letdown. If you wanted the top tier card that AMD had, you had to go before Polaris. You had to go for the Fury X, which was on the architecture for Polaris. The RX 480, which was the highest end Polaris card, barely competed with the GTX 1060, which is NVIDIA's Pascal mid-range card. NVIDIA's mediocre card outperformed the 480. So, AMD releases the RX 580. This is now, by numbers, the highest end model that the 500 series is going to have. And what is it? I'm not even kidding when I say this. It is the exact same card as the RX 480. I'm dead serious. It's the exact same one. The GPU size is the same. The architecture is the same. The core count is the same. The shader units is the same. The memory clock speed is the same. The memory size is the same. There's only one thing that's different. No, two things that are different. Only two. The clock speed is slightly higher, and the TDP is higher. If you understood what that meant, congratulations, you're a nerd. High five, bro. If you didn't understand what that meant, let me explain. Basically, the RX 580 is an overclocked RX 480. Oh, yep. That's right. Now, in fairness, the 580 does fix a few problems the 480 had. Because of the higher TDP, and the fact that they changed the auxiliary connector from a 6-pin to an 8-pin, it does solve the power draw problem the 480 had. The 480, if you don't remember, drew more energy from the PCI Express bus than what was allowed. The 580 no longer does that. That's good. The thing is that the new top tier AMD card is still, even with its overclocked boost, still less powerful than the NVIDIA GTX 1060. Yep. NVIDIA's mid-range card still beats out AMD. AMD, you had one job. You had one job. Put out a graphic card that isn't laughably bad. Well, good going, AMD. You put out a card that is laughably bad. I have never seen a brand new card be so underwhelming. Now, Unjust Banana says that the 1060 is awesome. Yes, it is. The 1060 is very good for what it is. But when you compare it to the rest of the NVIDIA lineup, it is the mediocre card of the lineup. As far as the gaming cards go, you have the 1050 at the bottom, then the 1050 Ti, then the 1060, then the 1070, then the 1080, then the 1080 Ti at the top. And then the Titan somewhere up. Nobody cares about the Titan. Nobody is actually going to include the Titan XP in their roundup of what NVIDIA can do. My point is this. The RX 580, by the numbers, is the best AMD can do. And the 580 sits in between the 1050 Ti, which is... The 1050 Ti is a graphic card NVIDIA put out to only take up 75 watts and still game. And the 1060, which is NVIDIA's mid-tier card. I guess that's not the worst place to sit. But to let NVIDIA just have the 1070, the 1080, and the 1080 Ti go completely unopposed, that's not good. That's when you start having those cards go up in price, because there is literally, not figuratively, literally no competition. And then nobody wins. Alright, one last thing. I'm going to talk about this real quick and talk about why I don't care. I know that's the worst way to jump into this last topic, but it is, I should at least point out that this week, Facebook did have its F8 2017 conference. And one thing that happened a lot at Facebook's F8 conference is VR, VR, AR, AR, VR, AR, VR, AR, VR, VR, AR, AR, VR, VR, AR. Facebook clearly wants virtual reality and augmented reality to be their primary focus. I'm going to be blunt. I'm not even going to bother going through each announcement because there's like 50 of them. I'm not even exaggerating when I say that. There were like 50 announcements from Facebook on VR and AR. And mostly on the grounds of the fact that every single one of them was just on-screen demonstrations. It was pretty much just Facebook going up on stage and saying, look, we have an idea, and we might be able to get this to work one day. It's all concepts. That's it. Look, I can dream big too. I can dream that I could convert this entire room into a Star Trek Enterprise holodeck suite. That doesn't mean you're close. Now, I know what you're thinking, and half of you are probably already typing whatever chat you're currently in, or leaving comments with the actual recorded podcast going, oh, but they own Oculus Rift. They have to be working on this on the inside. They could be really, really close. To which, I know this is going to sound cruel and harsh to say, but if that's the case, prove it. A video isn't proof. And that's all Facebook has right now, is videos. The only exception to this is the 360-degree camera they developed, which looks like a disco ball. And time will tell if that actually does what it says it does, and if it does, congrats to them. But let's be blunt, they're not there yet. And maybe they are. Maybe they are, and in 2 months, all this stuff will just flood the market, and they'll have me look like a fool. If that's the case, fine, so be it. But I'm not one who's going to be easily convinced by someone bringing up Adobe Premiere and making it look like they have working concept of AR within Facebook Messenger. Anyone with a video editing rig can do that. Wow, I actually got through that a lot quicker than I thought I was going to. That being the case, let's actually talk a little bit about this little gem. And this is one I think Unjust Man wanted me to talk about earlier when he was saying, what about the $80 graphic card? There are rumors floating about that NVIDIA is working on a GeForce GT 1030. Now that's not much of a surprise. Every time NVIDIA makes graphic cards, they make cards all the way from the X10 all the way up to the X80 Ti. Normally it's at the 1050 level, it's called the GTX on the way up, and then from the whatever 40 down is called the GT series. The GT cards are just pop-in cards. They're low powered and they're meant to provide moderate graphic power. Normally the GT cards get kind of ignored and they end up using last year's technology. What makes the GT 1030 interesting is the chip it's being powered on. It's being powered by the chip GP108. This would be a brand new graphics chip. It would be a downscaled version of the GP107, which is currently in the GTX 1050 and 1050 Ti. Which means there's actually some potential there that the GT 1030 could have some low-end gaming potential. Now you might be thinking, oh, what's the big deal? Oh, who cares? This does mean that if you're on a super tight budget, you could be looking at picking up a used office rig for about $100 and slapping in an $80 graphic card like this GT 1030 and possibly be able to play some PC games at decent frame rates at low settings. I mean, you're not going to play Overwatch at 1080p, but at 720p, it's a possibility. And it's going to be one that I can't wait to actually see what the potential actually is. We'll find out. I can't wait to see the benchmarks. That's going to conclude it for me, guys, here for this recorded podcast. Thank you all for listening. Please do give a follow on my Twitch account. That is at twitch.tv/eagle_falcon. Take care, everyone. I will see you next week, 3 p.m. Central Time, for the live broadcast of the next Eagle Eyes on Tech. We'll see you then.